So let's talk a little bit about another part of some of this. And one is you know we're talking about the business, but ultimately in a sole proprietorship, or if you have a business that has a manager, it really comes down to to individual strengths and weaknesses as well. And so, yeah, you're kind of assessing your business. If you're a sole proprietor, you're probably assessing yourself. If you're a manager, so what are some of those questions? So this means not only do you have to think critically about your business, you now have to think critically about yourself. And so I can think that's even harder. Um, in fact, I know it's harder to be able
Yeah.
to do that, particularly if you have that entrepreneur mindset. Um, how do you do that, Dave or Vince? How do you really get critical with yourself, not just for the business as a whole, but and realize there's some things you have to do differently, or you have to get some help someplace else.
Vince, why don't you go ahead on this one?
Yeah. So I think it starts with humbling yourself, and being able to listen to those around you, right? Whether that's a spouse, friends, customers, whoever that may be. And then really seeking out that advice and information. I think if you start there, you build a good foundation for really understanding and being able to take things and make it actionable. But I think it definitely, you have to be ready. You have to humble yourself, and then you have to start seeking it out and just asking.
Yeah, Vince, I agree with you. Humble is a great word to use. I, I, I learned over time. I obviously didn't do this when I was younger, so I have the ability of age that's coming out now. But once I realized that, hey, before I go in there, I'm going to do two things. One, I'm going to listen. I'm going to tell myself I'm going to listen 90% of the time. And I got my list of questions, and I'm going to listen to get feedback. Second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to avoid any effort to say, well, wait a minute, I disagree with you. That's not that's you don't see it that way, or that
Yeah.
never happened. You can't get defensive, and you can't start to rationalize it. You got to take notes, um, thank them for the
Yeah.
feedback, and although you want to come all out and go at them to say, no, that's not who we are or I am as a manager. Um, you have to take it. And then to me, I'd take that, I'd close my book, I'd sleep on it, wake up the next day and then reread it. And generally when you do it in that frame of mind, you get a little bit of change in yourself or the company, because you'll be a little, you say, okay, well, maybe he was right here. But in the heat of the moment, when you're having that discussion, no matter how prepared you are, you just got to avoid engaging too much. Then the person who's giving you feedback, they'll just walk away and say, well, you're not going to listen to me anyway. So